Good morning. Welcome here on our stage. Good morning. Hello, Ingrid. Please take a seat. Sit down. How are you all doing? Day 2 at the SPS.
Good.
And it's going really well. Well, it's loud in here. It's crowded in here. I would say we have the best place you can have with us on the exhibition stand. May I ask you to briefly introduce yourself and your company? Since we have 3 parties sitting here, please state your name, company, and your role.
Exactly. My name is Florian Holze. I am the head of the Open Hybrid LabFactory Technical Center and, so to speak, the customer in this discussion. My name is Jens Witt. I am Managing Director of VPW Energy. I am the Siemens partner.
And I'm Ingrid Bauer from Siemens Infrastructure and responsible for our partner program, SENTRON Digital Corporation. Thank you very much. So we have 3 partners here who are working together. Just a little bit of information. The Open Hybrid LabFactory Research Campus, which we will refer to as OHLF during the talk, is located in Wolfsburg, in Lower Saxony.
Correct.
Florian, what are you researching on at this campus complex?
We are carrying out research on new materials and manufacturing concepts for sustainable vehicles of the future. Our first goal in doing so is to find solutions that enable components to be used as fully as possible in a circular economy. We are also examining energy consumption during the material and production processes, because this is a key parameter for the footprint of a vehicle in the service life phase.
Jens, you are a persistent performer on our stage. We gladly receive you here more often. For you to tell us more about what VPW does, and in that case, I would like to know, and our viewers would of course also like to know, what role does VPW play in what Florian has just explained to us?
Well, we are an energy consulting company in the classic sense of the word. We are taking care of the introduction of the 50,001. So we analyze energy flows, gain insights into where there is potential for energy savings, visualize the whole thing, and implement these measures. And we use the SENTRON Powermanager to visualize and prove whether what we did was really good.
Speaking of SENTRON Powermanager, I turn to Ingrid. Can you briefly introduce the product, please? Yes, with pleasure. So SENTRON Powermanager is our power monitoring software. What is that all about? It first collects data from communicative protection devices or measuring devices, i.e., data collection in the project. Corresponding data from the energy distribution. Visualize these and display them in reports. In this way, we create transparency in energy distribution. And someone like Jens can then evaluate the data accordingly, make recommendations for action, and uncover optimization potential. That explains the topic in a few words. Okay, then I'll ask Jens right now. What is this current joint project about, and how is the SENTRON Powermanager used?
We have 2 points of entry. The one is that we evaluate the entire pre-production campus in power monitoring. And we also go into the processes and visualize the energy consumption of the individual processes, the individual process levels. And these are the 2 points of entry for our project that we are talking about with Florian in the OHLF. We have a total of 73 measuring points. We visualize all energy sources, and Florian was the first of our customers whom we converted from the old Powermanager world to the current Powermanager world. In other words, it was the first upgrade we carried out.
73 measuring points. That's not a small number. Do you really notice such big differences between the individual measuring points that one says we'd require so many? Or would 5 have covered it equally well?
Definitely. We want to go into depth and see exactly where and what energy is consumed. So at what process level, at what process step. But Florian could definitely add a little more information.
Da kann der Florian bestimmt ein bisschen mehr zu erzählen.
Then let's see. Florian, let's start with the measuring points. How many does it take?
As many as possible to be precise. We want to know the energy consumption in as many detailed processes as possible and draw our own conclusions from this. And the expectations of VPW Energy. Jens, in other words, were that they would provide us with this data via defined interfaces, and we can work optimally with it. and if possible in real time. And to put it bluntly, we don't need colorful curves or diagrams, but we want to use the data material to set the context of our detailed processes.
Den Kontext unserer Detailprozesse setzen zu können.
You experience both worlds. You experience research, but also the industry.
Exactly.
What are the differences when it comes to power monitoring? Jens, you're the one I'm directing my question to. Pardon me.
Exactly. The classic energy management representative in industry wants to have results delivered briefly and concisely on a screen. He wants to see where my energy is going, summarized, and receive recommendations. Scientists think a little differently, so the task we had was completely different. The point was quite clear. Provide us with raw data from all the energies that we measure and deliver it to us in such a way that we can process it further. And if possible, do it very briefly and succinctly, so it also works in other software.
Is it also about understanding correlations? You have already explained that it's the detailed processes involved in energy consumption that you need to know. Are there a few more points to say about how much they differ?
Well, we have many different processes, in other words, very diverse processes, and that's why we have as many measuring points as possible, which we can then use to depict and measure the processes.
Now I would like to return to the SENTRON Powermanager. Ingrid, what specifically appeals to you in this entire application? In general, and also in this project, the Powermanager is an open system. It has standardized programming interfaces. This means that you can, of course, import data from our devices, but also from third-party devices, and accordingly, also in the direction of evaluation and further processing of the data, passing the data on to other software solutions or databases where it can be used and processed. And maybe a little more from the Siemens viewpoint, Xcelerator, our marketplace for digital solutions. Here, too, are precisely this openness and interoperability of the solution that we offer that is an important criterion, because it is also required by the projects. On the one hand, we are involved with the Powermanager as a product, and on the other hand, with our partner VPW Energy, and as an energy consultant on the basis of our Powermanager. VPW Energy is also listed as a partner to continue this whole digitalization process, also from the Siemens viewpoint. Now we can turn our attention to partners and the ecosystem. Of course, this also has to do with the fact that you work openly. How can I envision this openness? What happens, for example, if I don't just want to measure electricity consumption, but also other energy consumptions, such as gas, oil, consumables?
Exactly. This is our specific application. We have not only equipped the electricity meters from the SENTRON PAC series from Siemens, we also have solutions from third-party suppliers, for example, to record water consumption or heat quantities. And in order to ensure sustainable production or to evaluate it, you have to look at several, if not all, variables, measure variables and influencing factors. Just as you just said, how much water do I use, or also how much pollutants are produced. It is, of course, fundamental to us as a solution partner. We don't want to just focus on electricity. We want to see everything and display everything globally with Powermanager, and that's why we need this openness. At this point, it doesn't matter whether the measuring devices are read out via Modbus TCP or whether they are subsequently pulse meters, gas, electricity, heat quantities. We can integrate everything, and so we can work sensibly.
In short, Florian, what did this open solution ultimately do for you?
Yes, integrated energy and resource monitoring. And that despite the heterogeneous measuring device landscape. And quite successfully too, as we were able to identify a savings potential of around 25% for the operation of our research facility. And then back it up with measures and then implement them. And that is, of course, extremely important for economic efficiency and also for the solution itself, so that it pays for itself more quickly.
Wow! With your particle? 25%, Ingrid? 25% is, of course, an extraordinary value. So normally we're around 10-15%. But even that has a very positive impact. And above all, if you look at the development of energy costs, I think it goes without saying that every percent actually contributes a part. We are running out of time a bit. A quick look towards the future. What plans do you have for the Open Hybrid LabFactory?
In der OLF wollen wir auf jeden Fall auch mehr
Exactly. We definitely want to use more regenerative energies in the OHLF, and that also means integrating it into the Power Manager in terms of yield, storage, and also the feeding into the grid. In terms of research projects, that we are looking at automated dismantling of vehicle structures with the help of robots, for example. And here, too, we need comprehensive energy management in order to be able to optimize the energy efficiency of the
ein
processes.
umfassendes Energiemanagement, eben die Prozesse wieder energetisch optimieren zu können.
Okay, now let's see, how can Siemens and Energy VPW help you with this?
Always happy to have your professional support in engineering, so it went very well. We are glad to hear that. We take up the challenge. Exactly. And we will continue to support you with our expertise in engineering and energy efficiency.
And from our side, Ingrid, I think Siemens is happy too. Well, definitely, because it is precisely in this triangular constellation that we can drive the topic of digitalization forward. As Siemens, we provide the software. VPW Energy, with its experience, implements this accordingly and prepares the data accordingly. And at the end, we heard it today, we have a satisfied customer. A win-win-win situation. Actually, nothing better can happen. I would say those are perfect closing words. Where can we find the topic here at our stand so that we can acquire more detailed information?
There in front.
Next to the info desk, correct. So for those who want to achieve a win-win-win at the push of a button, VPW Energy is definitely the right partner to talk with here. Siemens SENTRON Powermanager helps with that too. With Florian, you can talk to get a little look into the research, the future, and also to test the whole thing in the lab accordingly.
Thank you.
My thanks to you. Big applause.
Thank you very much.
We are always happy to hear about such interesting projects. Have lots of fun and success at the trade fair here with us. Thank you very much.